Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. Well, as North India suffers from toxic air pollution. The centre's affidavit to the Supreme Court today says that stubble burning by farmers is only 10% of the NCR's air pollution. Yet the same government affidavit quotes a report saying it is 35 to 40%. The top court says this proves that the hue and cry over stubble burning is baseless. The cat's out of the bag, don't blame farmers. But are Punjab elections leading to a U-turn on the impact of stubble burning? The top court orders an emergency meeting of the centre, the Delhi and Punjab government tomorrow. After the Prime Minister's meeting this weekend, now a parliamentary committee meets on cryptocurrency. MPs say we can't stop cryptocurrency but must regulate it. The security of investors' money is the biggest concern. Thousands bid farewell to a slain colonel and his family by terrorists. Tears and tributes today for the colonel, his wife and 8-year-old son. The army scales up operations in the northeast. 3 terrorists are killed in Arunachal Pradesh. The Prime Minister will land in a transport jet on a new UP expressway tomorrow. The Purvanchal Expressway inauguration with the Prime Minister landing in that jet and also a flypast. It will include the tricolour in the sky and the flypast by Air Force jets. But the political messaging before UP's crucial elections with the Indian Air Force? A political backlash over 5-year extensions to the tenure of the CBI and ED chiefs. Their fixed tenure, will now be more than that of the Home Secretary and the IB chief. The Congress says this is being done only to save the BJP and its friends. Wholesale price index inflation at a 5-month high. WPI inflation is now at 12.54%. The rise due to the rise in prices of manufactured products and crude petroleum. 2 women journalists detained in Tripura for 2 days get bail today. A local Tripura court says no detention is needed in the case. Well, let's just look at the lead story tonight, and that really is what happened today in a Supreme Court hearing on air pollution. Well, the Solicitor General today told the Supreme Court that stubble burning by farmers in Punjab and Haryana leads to only 10% of pollution. The same affidavit by the centre, however, quoted a report which says that stubble burning by farmers is 35 to 40% of air pollution. The top court then said this shows that the hue and cry over stubble burning is baseless. The cat's out of the bag, don't blame farmers for the pollution in the national capital. But many are asking, is it the Punjab elections which is leading to this U-turn on the impact of stubble burning on pollution? Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has ordered an emergency meeting tomorrow between the centre, the Delhi and the Punjab government.
The Supreme Court has said that the hue and cry over stubble burning is baseless. This is after the centre's top lawyer told the court it contributes only 10% to the air pollution in the capital. A 3-judge special bench led by the CGI, while hearing Delhi student Aditya Dubey's plea seeking court monitoring of Delhi NCR pollution, said major culprits of pollution are industries, vehicles and road dust. Some part is stubble burning. Central government and NCR states should consider work from home for a week for their employees. While stubble burning is not the major cause of pollution, a lot of it is happening in Punjab and Haryana right now. We request state governments to pursue the farmers to stop the burning for a week.
Justice D.Y. Chandrachud cited the centre's affidavit which said that stubble burning contributes 4% to the PM 2.5 pollution in winter and said the cat is out of the bag, farmers are blamed needlessly. The percentage is insignificant. Justice Suryakant said the hue and cry over stubble burning has no basis.
The politically sensitive issue of farmers burning paddy stubble often blamed for Delhi's air pollution crisis. In fact, there are at least 3 estimates from the government, each one different, depending on the days it's calculated for. The Solicitor General says 10% for today from Safar. CAQM says 35 to 40% currently, while the centre's affidavit says 4% in winter and 7% in the summer.
केंद्र सरकार को समझना होगा कि वो कौन सा आंकड़ा बता रही है और किस समय का आंकड़ा बता रही है। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि वो आंकड़ा किस समय का है, क्योंकि किस समय अगर पराली जिस समय जल नहीं रही थी तो उस समय का आंकड़ा अलग है।
The Supreme Court also pulled up the Delhi government, saying it was passing the buck to the municipality over vacuuming roads.
The next hearing of the case will take place on Wednesday, when all eyes will be on the action plan of the governments and whether it will get any easier for Delhiites to breathe. In New Delhi with Akshay Dongre and camera person Sudesh Kumar Ram, this is Sukirti Dwivedi for NDTV.
Well, moving now to the other big headline, and it's what everyone is talking about, digital currency or cryptocurrency. And today, a standing committee for finance parliamentary meeting was held, led by Jayant Sinha. This after the Prime Minister's crucial meeting on the weekend. For more, let's go across to Sonal. Sonal, what exactly are the big headlines from this meeting today?
Well, first of all, the fact that the government actually sat down with the crypto community is said to be the biggest day for the crypto community altogether, seen as a big step forward. And the other big headline coming out of that meeting, which lasted for over 3 hours, is that MPs now in that parliamentary panel at least concluding that crypto cannot be stopped, it has to be regulated. This in line with what the community itself has been asking for a very long time. So what happened in that meeting? Who all were part of it? Number one were crypto exchanges. Top 5 crypto exchanges in the country were part of this meeting. In fact, the MPs, because of their lack of knowledge on crypto, actually called in some IIT and IIM experts as well to give them a presentation of what exactly is blockchain, what exactly is crypto. So a lot of that was decoded in that meeting. Apart from that, they got experts, analysts, even CII. They wanted to understand how exactly is the industry looking at this. So that, having talked about all of that, the biggest, in fact, news coming out of this entire meeting is the fact that this meeting might not lead to anything concrete just yet. But this is seen as the first step in the direction that India actually moves towards a regulated cryptocurrency and perhaps a bill. Will that happen in the next session? We don't know just yet. But, India, Sonia, has had a hot and cold sort of relationship with crypto.
Right.
RBI banned it. Then the Supreme Court said you can go on. That happened in 2018, 2020, 2021. What's going to happen? We are keeping our fingers crossed.
Thanks very much, Sonal. So good first steps at looking at how to draft a policy to actually look at what, now is a reality around us is cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, well, it's election time. Uttar Pradesh key elections coming up, and tomorrow a grand inauguration of the Purvanchal Expressway in eastern UP. But this one is different. Vishnu has details of what exactly is happening. The Prime Minister to actually land in an Indian Air Force transport jet on an expressway.
Well, that's right, Sonia. This has actually been happening now for the last couple of years when the Indian Air Force has been able to land its fighter aircraft and transport aircraft on certain expressways in the country. This is actually quite important. It is important because if an airfield or an airbase is bombed, and that's the first thing that happens when there is a war, you need to have alternate facilities to land your aircraft. For all these years, we never had highways which could actually take the weight of aircraft, but now we've got a couple of highways which actually work. So I remember being in one in Uttar Pradesh a few years back when they tested Mirage 2000 aircraft, and that's going to be very much the case here as well. The Prime Minister will be coming in a C-130 transport aircraft. He'll then be proceeding to a political gathering, is what we are told, before he comes back over here. There'll be several other aircraft which will also be flying. There'll be one aircraft which will be landing. There'll be a transport which will be coming in after that. And the aircraft, the fighter which landed, will be prepared for takeoff. And it's going to take off after that. So politics and defense all in once.
So that's actually a combination which shouldn't actually happen. So let's see how that plays out. We know that the opposition, the Samajwadi Party, is saying that this is actually an expressway which was the foundation and the work was done in our terms. So controversial there. But let's see how that plays out tomorrow. The optics, at least, with the tricolour, a fly past, will be grand before those UP elections. Meanwhile, the other political fight right now is about the centre's ordinances which have extended the tenure of the CBI and ED directors up to 5 years. That's a fixed tenure. Earlier, they only had a fixed tenure of 2 years. So with this extension now to 5 years, they actually have a longer fixed tenure than the Home Secretary, the Defence Secretary, the RAW and the IB Chief. So there have been many political reactions pouring in from the Congress, the Trinamool and the left.
और सिर्फ इसलिए कि किसी का एक दिन तारीख जा रही है, किसी का एक दिन कार्यकाल खत्म हो रहा है। तो मैं अंत में ये कहूंगा कि इसमें जनहित क्या है, पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट क्या है, स्वहित है, बीजेपी हित है, सरकार हित है। 5 साल तो बहाना है, साहिब को बहुत छुपाना है। आखिर अपने दोस्तों को बचाना है और विपक्ष को भी तो दबाना है।
So really part of the ongoing controversy over whether central agencies are being used now as a political agency. We'll keep tracking that story. But meanwhile, the police, and now this is happening across states, keeps detaining and arresting people. The courts are the ones who are stepping in. So today, 2 young women journalists who were detained in Tripura for 2 days by the state police have got bail by a local Tripura court who said that no detention is needed in their case.
The 2 journalists moving out of the Tripura court after bail, the end of a 2-day ordeal for the 2 journalists. 21-year-old Samriddhi Sakunya and 24-year-old Swarna Jha granted bail by a local court in Tripura after being arrested by the Tripura police for reporting on the communal violence in the state.
The police claims that the journalists have falsely reported about the incident of burning of Holy Quran on Twitter. But the journalists and their lawyers have argued that they were just doing their job and the government is punishing them for questioning the official narrative.
Samriddhi had filmed the burnt interiors of a mosque which contradicted claims by the Union Home Ministry that no mosque was damaged in the Tripura violence.
Court was pleased to release them. They are not only opposing the bail petition. State government has come with a prayer for police remand. How vindictive the state government.
The government council pleaded in the court for police remand for the 2 journalists, but the court observed that this case even does not merit any sort of detention and therefore granted bail.
The arrests come at a time when the BJP-led Tripura government has come under fire for its shoot the messenger approach to the violence that flared up late last month, booking over 100 people, including lawyers and journalists, under the tough anti-terror law. The Editors Guild in a statement yesterday demanded their immediate release and restoration of their freedom to travel. While the young women have got bail, the ordeal is not yet over. The court has asked them to cooperate with investigations and they still have another FIR pending against them in Tripura, where they have to appear before the police later this week. With camera person Sanjay Chakravarti and Ratnadeep Chaudhary in Tripura, Joshua Chen for NDTV.
Bad news for all of us. Wholesale inflation is at a 5-month high of 12.5%, driven mainly by the high prices of crude, petroleum and manufactured items. WPI inflation is in double digits for the 7th consecutive month. So though 12.5% is a 5-month high, from September to October, crude and gas is up 9.5%, food articles 5%. Well, moving to other news, it's been a big IPO week. Here's the latest on another industry making a stellar stock market debut today. This as Nykaa's share prices fell today majorly.
Specialty chemicals maker Sigachi Industries today made a stellar stock market debut, opening up 250% compared to the issue price and closing up 267%. That's more than twice as good as Nykaa's 96% surge on closing after listing last week. Sigachi's stock, in fact, ended the day at an upper circuit with no sellers. Today also marked online insurance aggregator Policy Bazaar's debut on markets, ending 22.6% higher from the issue price.
In 2021 alone, India witnessed over 60 offerings on the stock exchanges. These IPOs have already raised over 1 lakh crore rupees.
Even as fashion unicorn, Nykaa's profit fell 96% after a mega stock market debut due to a 4-time surge in marketing costs ahead of the IPO.
No KYC.
The spotlight is now on what could be India's biggest IPO week in over a decade.
Paytm customer.
Paytm lists later this week and was oversubscribed 1.89 times, far less than Segachi's 102 times and Nykaa's 82 times. Sakshi Bajaj for NDTV.
But the Sensex and Nifty ending today on a flat note as gains in ITC, Kotak Mahindra, TCS, Power Grid and Asian Paints were offset with losses in Tata Steel, Reliance and ICICI Bank, State Bank and Larsen & Toubro. Sensex ending 32 points higher, the Nifty 50 index advancing 7 points. Well, we all know NDTV is the viewer's choice, and it was the choice today of, well, young actor and one of the rising generation superstars, Karthik Aaryan, who was at the NDTV studio. Karthik plays a news anchor in his latest release on Netflix, and he came to take some tips and also try out some entertainment news. He did a fantastic job.
Tell us, did you get an idea of the kind of challenges journalists face on the job?
So while prepping for the film and while shooting and now that after the film, I really have immense respect for you guys. I mean, it's a 24/7 job, and I really don't know how you manage your personal life and professional life, given the accountability and the responsibility that you have. So that is something I really have gathered that immense respect, and of course the challenges that you guys face, you have to have that responsibility and that reflex, and every time you are on your toes. I mean, these are the things which I really think are really important, and you guys manage it so well.